And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to My Curvy Life. I bring you greetings as well as from my co-host, Miss Latanya and Lasagna Jones, who will be loving on you in the comments on today and accepting your greetings and thanking you for coming into the show. I am so thankful to all of you who are a part of this community. I do not take it lightly. I appreciate each and every one of you. I just want to make a quick announcement before we bring our guest in, who I'm very excited to have on today. I am doing a drive, a sock, hat, glove, and scarf drive for the homeless for Christmas. By December 16th, I will need all items or donations. If you would like to contribute in that endeavor, I am just trying to give back to the community and help those that are in need. So if you would like to join me, I would appreciate all your support. If you would like to donate toward this cause, you can send all monies to me, donations to Cash App. It is $Fonda L Cross. If you need to contact me, you can reach out to me on any of the social media sites. So I am not going to keep my guest waiting. I'm going to go ahead and read his bio. I'm so proud and excited for this young man. Today we have Mr. Richard Webb. His bio reads, Richard Webb is the president and CEO for the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands. Richard has the ability to work closely with an extraordinary team of teammates, board members, donors, and community stakeholders to help thousands of youth a year reach their fullest potential and continue building upon a legacy that has been known for 60 years. Webb is also an active participant and serving on, I hope I'm saying this right, Chancellor's Board of Counseling, UNMC, NU President's Advisory Council, graduate of Nonprofit of the Midlands, Nonprofit Executive Leadership, Class 12, graduate of Leadership Omaha, Class 41, and also serves on the Film Streams Board of Directors. Richard Webb has been awarded the numerous awards as a result of his dedication and involvement with his community. I love it, including the Urban League of Nebraska, YP of the Year, and Young Black and Influential Award, the St. John AME Dreamskeeper Award, and most recently, the Children's Square U.S. Jason's Award. A native of Omaha, Nebraska, Webb is married to our beloved Rib, Miss Danita D. Webb, who has obtained her doctorate in education and leadership, and they have 4 lovely children. During his spare time, he enjoys fishing, networking, and spending quality time with his family. Wow. So we're going to go ahead and get Mr. Webb in on the video here. Give me just a second.
Hello, good morning.
Well, hello, good morning. Welcome to My Curvy Life.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on the show.
I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, it's been a long time waiting for you to come on here, man. I've been anticipating you, like as I am all my guests. Thank you for saying yes.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it's been a couple rocky months, but God has been good through it all. So, amen.
Yes, he has. He is definitely worthy to be praised.
Amen.
So, Richard, oh my gosh, this bio though. I mean, all the awards. I mean, you are like really working in this community. I'm proud of you.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. I really believe I found where my bucket is, and God continues to pour into my bucket so that I can pour out to others. And shine his light. So I've been really blessed to just wake up every day and live it where I believe his will for my life is.
Amen. Amen. Let's start out with your current position. You are the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands. Can
Mhm.
you tell me a little bit about, like, let's start with what that job entails for you?
Well, I will tell you, it's a little bit of everything. Being the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands, but from a very high level, it's working directly with our board of directors and my senior leadership team to continuously have the strategic direction of the organization heading in a right path in order to really live out our mission. And that's really helping each and every single one of our kids to help them reach their greatest potential. And, a lot of people may not know. When they think about the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands, they only think about the North Club, which is off of 26th in Hamilton. But we have 12 clubs around the Omaha metropolitan area. We have 2 in Iowa, so Carter Lake and Council Bluffs. And then we have 3 different types of clubs. So we have clubs that are actually our standalone, which most people know, like our North, South, Carter Lake, and Council Bluffs. And then we have clubs that are inside of schools but don't have their own building per se. And then the last section we have is the actual clubs that we built one building space to schools for those partnerships and collaborations. So it's really the strategic direction and raising the resources available to allow us to do the things that we can do for our kids on a daily basis.
Wow. And see, I wasn't aware that we had that many clubs here, and you are correct. I was only thinking about the one over there with that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to hear about that. Now, can you tell me a little bit about how would a youth get involved in joining the club? How is that process?
Yeah, so we try to make it as simple as possible. I will tell you, we're daycare licensed for most of our sites. So there is some demographic information that we have to collect. So the membership application is a pretty lengthy membership application, but the good thing about it is it access to everyone. To whereas we currently just charge $30 for the year for membership,
Okay.
and that's you're allowed to come throughout the whole year, and that's getting a meal there, homework help, all of that for just $30 per year. Now, if you are a teen, those dollars are waived, so there's no necessarily fee. That's all underwritten for teens. Because of course, when we know they get a little older, we want to make sure to keep them more engaged in the right path and things of that nature. And so, that those waived, but you can go to any one of the clubs, regardless if it's our Morton Club, regardless if it's our Florence Club, our West Side Club, North South Club, Carter Lake. You go down the list, and just walk in and ask them for an application, or you can go online and do it at Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands, bgcomaha.org, and you can fill out the application there, whatever club is closest to where you are.
That is wonderful information, because I was just getting ready to ask you, was there a fee involved with becoming a member? So, Mr. Webb, I was reading your bio, and you have so many prestigious awards that you've been given, and I know all praises go to God.
Amen.
I'm I'm sure there's been timeless effort and energy put into each one of those endeavors that you are a part of. So I want to know, if you were to give a word of encouragement or a word of motivation to someone who was trying to, like, maybe walk in your shoes and achieve the things that you have achieved in this community, what would be something that you would tell them to do?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is always just showing up. And I think that's why I try to instill up on most of our kids and most of our staff, because a lot of people look at this position as Boys and Girls Club president, CEO. Your role is to make sure that our kids are successful, and that's what our mission states. But ultimately, I believe the family cohort that we try to establish within the movement, the Boys and Girls Club, we not only have an obligation to support and help guide our members, but also our staff, our teammates, right? And 95% of any issue that you're ever going to have is showing up. If you don't show up, I guarantee you it will never get fixed. But if you show up, I don't care if it's the hardest issue or the easiest issue. The harder ones may take a little bit longer, but if you continuously show up, I guarantee you will chip away at it a little bit more and get there. And so if I could say any role of advice, I get up every single morning with the thought process that, I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care what challenges are in front of me. I don't care how hard it seems. I don't care how much emotionally tied I am. Get up. And when you get up, you get to it.
That is wonderful, wonderful advice. Now, with this community and like the things that are going on in it with the youth, it's a lot of like I'm gonna say troubled youth out there. A lot of different things going on. How many years have you been and the CEO of this organization or been with the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands? And second part of that question is, have you seen a difference in the youth? The program as far as helping them get on the right track?
Yeah. Well, just one clarification point before I go to answer those two questions. One thing I always want to make sure to represent our clubs in is in any after school program, because there's a thought process out there that if their kids are engaged in any type of after school program or they're engaged with the Boys and Girls Club, these kids need to be on the right track, right? So they need to be helped to be put on the right track. And I'm a firm believer of words have power. And so for the kids that we serve, not every one of our kids are, troubled kids. Not every one of our kids are out here doing crazy things, right? And I mean, we have a mix of a lot of different kids, but we have great kids that are number one in their class that attend the Boys and Girls Club on a daily basis, just based on the opportunities that they see that the Boys and Girls Club have. Whether that's the scholarship opportunities, whether that's the travel opportunities, whether that is the, opportunities to go on college visits, or all of these just opportunities for mentorship. I mean, you just go down the line. And so for us, when I think about the club kids that we serve, it's such an extraordinary time to just support them in all walks of life. And so for me, I just celebrated 3 years of being president and CEO actually a couple of days ago. So November 30th was my 3-year mark in this role. And I'm actually an alumni of the North Omaha Boys and Girls Club. So I actually attended the club starting when I was in the 4th grade. And so, there's been a lifelong opportunity to not only be engaged in the club programming. We've been there for about 62 years now. And the second part of that question, when it comes to the kids, Fonda, it's been the last couple of years have been the hardest years for our babies. And I said this before at another interview I had. We think about ourselves as adults and how challenging it was for us to navigate the pandemic, right? With the experiences that we've had, the life challenges that we've had to go through. A lot of our babies, they didn't have to go through none of that for the most part until the pandemic came. And, not going to school for a year and a half, the social interactions. I mean, we see it in our scholarship students that go to the first freshman year. So me and my chief scholarship and outreach officer were just talking about this to our board, that this freshman class was a little bit more challenging for this year in the college, because this was the first year that essentially those students, they went to high school their freshman year. And then when they came back to some normalcy in high school, it was their senior year. So they missed that whole high school engagement. And now they have the scholarship things. And this was their freshman year in college. And you can just see that a lot of the things that you learn through high school, whether that is being effective use of your time, how to study, all of those just different things, they just didn't get as much as a traditional student. So we know over the next couple of years, just when it comes to mental health, when it comes to social, I mean, our babies are going to need a lot more hand holding to get them prepared for whatever that next step in life is. But ultimately, you have people like myself and other leaders within our community, whether it's, Girls Inc., whether it's the North Star, whether it's the Kids Can, that, we show up every day to make sure our babies have that opportunity, but ultimately just have that hope too.
Now, do you offer within the organization of the Boys and Girls Club, do you offer mental health counseling, or are there people that come in from the outside and kind of help you with your program?
We do. So we're really blessed. Our board president is Dr. Deli Davies. And so we have a really good, he's a vice chancellor at UNMC. So we have a really good relationship with them. We have a really great relationship with Methodist. And then we have a real good relationships with Center for Holistic Development. And so, we've been actually utilizing some resources over the last couple of years, not only to provide mental health and counseling and therapy to our members, but also, once again, to our staff, because, of course, they need it too. Majority of our staff are, that graduate in high school and college age kids. And so, therefore, we want to make sure to support them in many different ways also. And we're going down the path of actually getting a licensed therapist to come on board in the very near future, Fonda, because, as I stated, the 3 different club types, the clubs that are inside of schools and the clubs that are attached to schools, of course, we can leverage the counselors that are inside of those school buildings. But we're looking at getting a licensed therapist for the 4 clubs that we have that are not attached to schools or not inside of schools to make sure those babies can have the therapy or the support they need too. And a lot of that has been, our group therapy that we have. And then if there is some one-offs where, a kid and the family needs to go seek a outside one-on-one therapy, we're able to provide that support and those kind of connections also.
That's wonderful, because I think there's definitely a great need for that. You know what I mean? Right now, just with, I'm going to say, since the pandemic and some of the changes, because I think we're still being affected by that,
Yeah.
even though we're kind of, well, I don't even know if we're past it because people are still in COVID. But we definitely need some regrouping and some rebuilding, and so I think that's very important. I was just wondering if that was a part. Now, hiring for the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands, are you guys hiring right now? There may be some people that may need some employment, and so I wanted to see if there was some availability.
Of course, we are always hiring and trying to grow our teammates. And I will tell you, as far as the opportunities to even grow within an organization, I mean, it's very key to get in and be able to grow within our organization right now. Going back to what I stated a little earlier, we are mostly daycare licensed centers. And so, of course, with there, we have to keep into a certain ratio when it comes to staff versus kid ratio. And so with that being said, of course, the more staff we bring on, then the more opportunities for additional kids that we can have. And we're actually going through some strategic planning right now for some growth models of what does it look like, because, find out, if we had an additional 50 staff, of course, we can get an additional large number of kids inside of our facilities. But then as we go back to how things have changed over the last couple of years, we want to make sure our quality is where it needs to be at also. So not just getting additional kids inside the program just to be there, but how can we make sure we support them in meaningful ways? And that's why with our staff, we have youth development professionals, and that's a lot different than a lot of people are used to. And so with that being said, there's a lot of training that goes along with that. There's a lot of support and guidance for our staff members. But of course, we're always hiring, whether it's the part-time teammates that, can work up from 15 to 20 hours a week, or full-time positions. We do have some available too.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. One last question. Now, do you do like I'm sure you do, but do you, like, if an organization wanted to have you come in and kind of do a talk or anything of that nature, do you do those type of things?
I do. I will tell you, recently I've tried to shy away from them just because of some challenges I've had in my life, and I've been trying to dedicate, my position does take a lot of my time as president and CEO of an organization that is continuously trying to strive to understand what 5 years down the line looks like. And then, of course, with my family, with my kids, trying to support them and get into each one of their events, just with, like I said, the recent transition and loss of my wife. So I'm not going to say I don't, but I'm very selective of what that looks like, just because, it takes time away from what my kids are. And, if I have to miss a game, that I don't have someone else that's there to support my babies, I want to make sure I support my babies, because ultimately what we all know is the first house you got to make sure you take care of is your first house. And then from there, then of course, you can't pour out a cup that's empty.
Right. And that's very understandable. Can you leave us with, if anyone was wanting to get in touch with your organization, is there a website that you can leave here with me, with the people right now, or any way that we can contact, Boys Girls Club of the Midlands?
Yep. So our website, we have a Facebook, we have a website, we're almost everywhere. The Knuckles, it's Boys and Girls Club of America, I think, is the number 3 brand in the country when it comes to recognizing the Knuckles, of course, that you'll see. But of course, our phone number is 402-342-1600. We'll get you straight to the admin offices at the North Omaha Boys and Girls Club. You can go to our Facebook, which is just Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands. And then also you can go to our website, it's just bgcomaha.org. And all of those things can kind of tell you a little bit more of an overview of each one of our clubs, whether you're a membership application, It also lets you allow you to do donations if you want to do any of those. And then also we have our careers page there that will list all of the current openings that we do have. And so those are just a couple of different ways that you can connect with the Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands.
Well, all right, you guys, you heard it straight from Mr. Richard Webb, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club Midlands. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I know you're a very busy man, but I thank you for taking the time out and coming and sharing with us, okay? So I am going to go ahead and, if it's okay, end the show right now and say thank you. I'm sure you have a busy day. I appreciate you. Hey, best of wishes and blessings to your endeavors. I hope that, things will continue to grow on you guys' behalf with the youth. It's very, very important. They are our future.
Amen.
So thank you for investing into the youth. And I just appreciate everything. And I thank you for coming on the show. All right.
I appreciate it. And I love the opportunity to be here today.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful day. And Curvy Life says thank you and bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Me and Khaled do the remix. Everybody hands go up. Me and Khaled do the remix. Everybody hands go up. And they stay there. And they stay there.